along, everyone, to sports. I wanted to say sports, but me, you're the one that is causing this. Because I usually work with me on sports bread.
That is my La Liga.
Do you like sports? Do you like sports burger?
Sport and grow.
All right. Welcome along, everyone, to the Hindsight Podcast. Glad to have you join us for another interesting episode. And I can say that at the start of the podcast because at the end, we probably, hopefully, deliver on that promise. And it'll be a great podcast. We've had the luxury of having 2 Champions League games on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. FX is here as well as Falana Adeni. We brought the 2 London teams in the house, even though they're not in the Champions League, but it's good to have both of them here. Olakunle Rufai is back as well. Fasting is done. Birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
2 days ago, actually.
2 days ago yesterday.
2
days ago, right?
I heard
2 days ago,
radio.
actually.
Happy birthday. That's
right. You might want to leave a comment,
What you be
plenty.
Make people help my life. Say drop a comment. Please put my account number there. My brother, put something.
What did they
there.
say 100 naira?
Now money now. If 1,000 people send me, how many followers we get for Instagram and TikTok?
That's
If
true.
1,000 people send me
500
100 naira.
naira.
If I see this
wait,
video,
relax.
you see this video where they talk so
Let's
abeg,
do-
now it make you post, come put the account
let's
number.
do
If 1,000 people or 2K people or 3K people send 100 naira, it's getting somewhere now. You get, and in between that, you see some people that will be kind. They will send 5K, 10K.
Yeah.
What's the if 1,000 people send you it's 100 naira? How much is that?
Now 10K now.
Thank you.
10,000 naira, right?
Yes, now. If you get 10K,
What you
now,
want
you
to
go buy fuel now. Wait, make it enter first.
I don't understand which kind of question was that.
You
All right,
understand?
all right, right.
You get
100
100K,
naira,
Jerry.
1K.
Man, your math is bad, man. Nobody talk 10K now.
Yeah, it's not 10. Yeah, that's 10. That's 100K now.
It's 100. It's 100.
Yes, now.
Hey, you're not talking about.
Oh, it's
10K.
100 naira. Yeah, that's 100K now.
Yes, now.
You get. So let's do.
So that one work now.
I mean. So the thing is, we are we've been ideating charging for the podcast, right? So maybe if we use one try, you get. If you didn't know Rufai, it means Rufai no clean. So let's see if you can get 50 people send you the 100 naira, right? You know how you watch all the reality shows, Big Brother.
Don't worry,
and
my God
they
will
buy
show you.
they buy Benz per person. You get so.
Scam.
You get
Scam.
maybe
It's not a scam, oh.
Maybe fan love.
It's not a scam.
That fan, no, see,
No, it's not
I
a
don't think
scam.
it's a scam, but I know it's show business.
So if you have some
That's it.
powerful
There's
people that
something
follow you,
behind it. There's
some
show
powerful
business.
people that like in the end, no be 100 naira when they donate for you go
Yeah.
buy luxury car.
Sure.
But some people that donate 1 million naira,
Yeah.
some people donate 400K.
Now
Do
you
you
tell you
understand?
now. You just say we don't get people with the followers, so we just say this is
But
Olakunle.
if-
There's say 100.
I didn't see
naira.
when I
Just
comment.
say 1 million.
I saw
Share am,
I saw
oh.
a
Share
share.
Oh, so we dey share birthday now.
Not be we dey make noise
Chelsea
for you.
guys now.
Now you dey talk. Now you dey talk. On that
Now,
level,
wow.
you know.
We be London
I
guys
give
now.
you small
London
percentage.
guys.
Small time.
Wetin be London kill you there?
Small time go do like the video. I will begin to call people name when they will give me
Hey,
because I see of our comments. You guys, I saw a friend of mine. Shout out to Kemen Fitness. Commented on the podcast, and I mean, we have all the comments all the time, but it was good to know that Kemen also made a comment as well. So shout out to you. Kemen is a guy who, interestingly, I bossed him and I was like, I'm glad you made a comment on the podcast. Sometimes it can feel like nothing, but it's the reach and stuff like that, and that's just great as well. So make I know they call names, right? Because that would just be, we never reached that point yet. You never reached that level yet.
the goal is,
But I have some very serious people that I see on the public. You didn't watch this podcast. They
But
leave
you
a
guys,
comment.
you guys owe me La Liga,
Right.
La Liga merchandise, man.
that's what it now. That's what
it
it
now.
whole only for next.
Yeah.
You don't miss.
Press am for neck.
Oh,
Yeah, we should
Yes.
they give me share we'll try collect them. So
I don't understand.
but
Why do Nigerians say that thing? I don't understand. But you understand. You know what he
He's
said.
lying now. That's what I'm
I don't
saying now.
understand.
I
say
lying
something,
now.
Nigerians
pick
say,
shit.
I don't understand.
Rufai collect the
He's
shit.
lying.
Were you here?
now.
Were you not here?
Yeah, now you be pick the shirt.
He collect them.
Look at you see this one.
You
see,
like
that's
say
what
that-
that's what people we don't know wetin they pull mouth for wetin they don't know.
I
say-
did that day now.
like,
I did that
make we
day.
sharply
You dey-
bet.
you dey-
This
you
your
dey-
watch now original. Make we bet.
You there? We know there.
I
This
dey
your
that
watch
day.
now original. Forget we don't hear say you
How
dey
we
here.
go
Make we
take bet
bet.
for wetin I
Now
know?
Wale go come tell you wetin
So
dey
you won't
happen
believe
now
the word of
because you
Wale,
dey support
you won't
lie.
believe the word of Wale.
I pick shirts. You carry the shirt. Anyway, I wanted to ask you guys, right? I wanted to ask you, FX, welcome to the pod. Nee, welcome to the pod.
Peace.
I always make the point to welcome everyone specially because making it to the pod is not it's not a mean feat, right? And Olakunle Rufai as well. Yours truly as well. But I wanted to ask everyone, what's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Because I kind of felt like that's something that is really thought about. Do you have a ritual? Like, first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, this is what I do. At least, so I mean, it doesn't have to happen like 10 out of 10 times, but I think that if you do something 7 out of 10 times, that is a ritual, no?
100. It's like you are in my head. In fact, UB. Me, it's music. It's of course a little prayer, but music, rap, and I'm listening to AQ right now. So God's Engineering too, and there's a track Mogadishu that I can relate to. I've been listening to it since last night till this morning, and that's what I listened to coming to the show.
Right.
So, yeah, it's what gets me going, kind of inspires me, and kind of just in a way I already know what I want to do. Music inspires me really.
Yeah.
So,
So you wake
that's
up.
my ritual.
Yeah.
That's my ritual.
Music in the
100.
first. So basically, we're saying in the first 20 minutes of your waking up, you have some music.
When you
No
wake
doubt.
up,
With my tea and all that, I have my tea, read up some news.
Yeah.
Music always part of it. I don't know why.
What's the plan for you?
Okay, so
That's
I have a
not- I don't
playlist
lie.
on my phone also. I mean, I'm going with him. Tobechuku, Maverick City music. So
I know you're big on the trumpets and all that stuff.
Nathan
I'm big on the not the harmonica, but like the sounds that you hear in the song where people don't hear. The saxophone. And if you come
the
from
strings and everything.
yeah, where I come
Are you a
from,
George
like
Benson fan?
No.
Okay.
you know George Benson.
I don't know George Benson.
Okay.
So
Right,
I'm not
I
his
mean-
fan.
Now, which is
A bit
supposed
too-
to
Guitar.
I'm not his fan, so that I don't
don't know
him.
him now.
Yeah, so that's why I said
that's
I'm not
fine.
his fan.
That's fine.
So
That's the easy way out.
exactly. That's a good answer.
George Benson, who be that? I don't know George Benson. He said, no, I'm not
Yeah,
his
yeah,
fan.
yeah.
He
no,
wanted-
because
he
I
wanted
don't
to
know
keep
him. I don't
You
know
want
him.
to keep her moving, maybe like say,
Yeah,
I say,
you are
Yeah, I know.
make it like say, nah, Buju there. I say, I'm not a Buju fan, but we all know. Come on, get out.
So that's what I do. My first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, listen to gospel music and
Correct.
just to get my day. After that, I check the previous bets of the previous night. So, they'll see if you see they go.
He don't go.
They'll see if you see they go. If you know they go, we continue to the time.
You don't know the check bet.
Check bet. Nah, bet. They can't check on it. Don't say how far. We don't win.
I don't know where that came from, man.
If you they go,
Gospel music
if you
there.
they go, we'll dance. If you know they go, we go see dance. So
Respect.
Right. I get the feeling that be at the best of the time, even at praise or in a worship.
Damn.
No, see, I totally was not expecting that plot twist.
That's 0 to 100,
That
man.
was a plot twist.
Nice one.
And I wasn't expecting it.
Nice one.
Right. Always
one.
nice to have some water on the pod as well. Look, you can't take this sugar. This is a no sugar month, no soda month, no?
What is no soda
What
month?
is-
My brother drink as much as he wants.
You
Nah.
drink soda?
now your belly they enter. I know they drink alcohol. I know they drink sugar.
No, but it's
You say you know they drink alcohol,
I know
right?
they drink alcohol.
yeah.
You never drink on top of this show before.
Yeah. No.
You know how many times when you don't ask that question, Olakunle Rufai.
You never drink on top of this show. No, be you are the ask now. Sure, I ask you.
The favorite person, the favorite drinking
so that's
excuse I've ever heard in my life. Now the one way you need to give, and he will say a
for
little
the
wine
tummy.
for the tummy.
It's about the
He
tongue.
they play.
God rest my dad soul. It's something like my dad will say.
Yep.
He'll be like, a little wine is good for the tummy. But like, don't drink that wine.
How do you know it's good for the
Oh,
tummy?
I don't drink that
Right.
wine. He said it's just good for the tummy.
4 bottles, good for the tummy. 5 bottles, good for the
It's
tummy.
funny, right? I don't want to even give a free hype to Campari, but I growing up, there was always a bottle of Campari
No,
in
you
my
just
house.
did.
No, like you can beep the thing out, right? But so
It's forever, man.
right, like
Campari is
honestly,
forever.
I didn't drink a Campari on my own until, speaking of drinks, until maybe I was maybe 20, maybe 28. Cause I just like
It's
how
a
you
mixer, really.
the first experience you
It's
have,
always a mixer.
right? The first experience you have with something can leave a scar on your mind. Because as a kid, it's bitter to you.
Yep.
I'm like, this is bitter. So I never want to try it again. So years on, I tried to say, I'm like, this is such a premium drink.
Yep.
My dad knew what he was doing.
Especially when you mix it with your lager beer.
Oh,
That's a bit.
so shouts to my guy, Otto Ibanga,
Perfect.
right? 2021 Christmas. I think no, the new year passes, so we have this thing. It's becoming a ritual almost. Myself, Otto and a friend of mine, Chinedu Hova, who's just got hitched. We go to Uyo to spend the Christmas, right? And we're in his house and everything, and he's like, try this mixture, beer and
Campari.
Campari. And bro, this thing slapped. Like
Always 100.
bro, this thing slapped. I was like,
cold.
what? We saw pepper soup. I was like, whoa.
Yep.
But back to what you do in the morning, right? And you should leave a comment as well if you're listening or you're watching.
Pray. It's prayer.
What's the first thing you do in
That's
the morning?
It's prayer.
Yeah.
Like
So since we've established that prayer is the first thing, let's take prayer to 0 and say what is 1? Because 1 for FX is prayer is a constant across the board for everybody. So prayer, music. Bet number 2. What's number 1?
go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Man, I drink tea. How can you go back to sleep after?
Except I have something I'm doing here.
Oh, okay.
But I don't have something I'm doing. Okay, so back when I stopped going to the gym for a while. My return soon, but
That gym was for like 7 months. Relax.
then it was.
He said for a while.
Actually, if I say
Ajin was like 7 months. Relax.
actually, if I say for a while and it is 7 months, that is a lot. Do you know what it is to go to the gym constantly for 7 months?
try now.
It
You
is
try.
ridiculous.
What is it?
Try 3 months, then come and speak to me. So it's you get you keep it
Keep it moving.
No,
Keep it
but-
moving.
but-
Keep it
but-
moving.
but-
Keep it
but it's 7 months.
Can you just go on?
So
What's going on here? Look at this guy.
Stand up and leave.
that shot said that be when this thing they inside this guy
What
come.
was inside that drink?
Like funny story, right? Back in uni, if somebody holds Sprite or Coke, I just say, give me your Sprite. Make
You go collect coke when
Oh
you don't know
my
what's there.
God.
Until
Your own no.
He's gone. No traces.
Your own no. You go collect what you don't know.
Come on,
what
my
you
lady.
Yeah. I think that so after then, if I don't have work, because the most important thing to me in the morning is just prayer, nothing else. So if I don't have something I'm doing, if it's not work or I'm not going to use it, most likely I will go back and take maybe another 30 minutes, an hour nap before I come and start my day.
Your mates are in the West Coast.
Do you
They're
understand?
deciding your life
Good luck to them.
on this thing.
Good luck to them. Me, I am deciding my own
Man in
life.
control of his life. I mean, so going back.
You haven't seen that Stephen A's not Stephen A.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey's this thing.
Good luck to
that
him.
inspirational this thing. He said
He's talking in the
he
nonsense.
said the West Coast.
He said rich people don't sleep for 8 hours.
8 hours a day.
He said 8 a.m. in the morning. He said
The stock market has opened.
It's been open
12
for 5
hours
hours.
ago.
I said, look
They're
at this
making
one.
decisions about your life,
See.
and your ass was still sleeping.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you.
I watched this thing for the first time. It's traumatized me for like 4 years.
No, he go paying you small.
Good luck.
I was even trying to quote something from boy. He said, "I'm not trying to live a soft life. I'm trying to live. I'm trying to go hard on my life. Life
Right.
is hard.
I saw you saw that you
And you have
tweeted.
to-
You tweeted that. I
And
saw.
you have to go hard and get it, man. I totally agree, man. I'm not for anything soft life anymore.
So
man.
you see,
Let's
in
go
this
hard.
day and age. So you see, in this day and age, I realized that there's a what's the right word to use? There's a high that people get from just telling another person that they're not doing it right, by not offering any form of solution or any form of
right.
people just get this high from
Life
just
coach, motivational
telling
speakers,
people that you are not doing it right, you are
aspire.
wrong. What you are doing is this. People just because that's the reason why social media has become so negative.
But Steve Harvey is not one of those guys.
Well, Steve
No,
Harvey
Steve
is
is
not.
not.
No.
He's not one of those guys.
No. Steve Harvey might not be the guy that's in there doing that all the time. But what he is also is a showman.
You know
And
Wallo
someone
now.
that sells.
You know Wallo now.
Yeah, Wallo. Yeah,
Wallo
the
too.
guy and the guy that owns a
And,
podcast.
Yeah. Wallo, he's also pretty inspiring too, but he does it.
Yeah,
too.
on a
He does it in
different level.
way.
If you
So
notice
he
those
tries to
guys,
tell
is
you
it
the
Wallo
truth
or the other guy? He's been to prison, so when
Yeah,
he speaks
Wallo
to
has
people,
been to prison for
exactly
20
So when he
plus
speaks to people, he tells them this is what you do, this is how you handle. This is someone giving real life practice on how you can avoid some of this thing that
Mistakes
he
that
has
he has
gone through.
made,
Do
yeah.
you understand? But when you tell someone that, oh, you can't sleep 8 hours a day, that's BS. You say the stock market, as a matter of fact, if you are involved in the stock market
But
and
it's
you are
still
doing it right,
inspiring.
wait. As a matter of fact, if you are involved in the stock market and you are doing it right, it doesn't matter if you are sleeping or you are awake. You are either making money or losing money.
So you
That sleep is not the problem.
So you know this thing past Steve Harvey.
Well, I might. Who knows? Steve Harvey is a comedian as a showman. He's a stockbroker. Why can't I know him more than him?
You know, someone said, it's on where everybody
But
pray.
it's stubborn.
You know, someone said, it's on where everybody pray against bad friends. Make nothing do me. You know, and I was thinking about it. It was like,
true now.
you know, like how do people come up? It's only nothing do me.
Look at this.
But-
Look at this riffraff. In the check game, I mean they play game. What would they do?
Please zoom into this man's phone. Look at
He dey
that.
check-
Looks like a betting.
Yeah.
That's why I looked up
He
immediately.
dey check bets.
He said today I don't see 1,000 advice on how to run my life. Nobody don't ask for my account number.
No, you know, someone said.
They want use advice, killer.
The only advice give away for problem money if you solve.
You get. But this Idol trend, man. What's going on? This Idol trend is actually funny. The funniest one to me has been that if opportunity find Idol come house and you don't know their house, opportunity go wait. I say, hey, opportunity
Idol
go
now.
wait.
No, I don't now. Like
No, the funniest one is this. He say, he don't no get money. That's the funniest one. He say, he don't no get money now, Omi don't.
He don't weigh me. I don't know from.
from a basic point of view, I can tell that it is the
Idol.
opposite of Idol.
More or
Yes,
less.
now. Omi don't is like a young
Yeah.
girl, like a young girl. That's
Yeah,
But
yeah. But
he done from right from when me I small. Has always been a bad guy.
Yes,
a
now.
sharp
Yes,
guy.
now.
Yeah.
Yes, now. Yes,
It's,
now.
you know, so it has always been a healing. And you don't hear it often. He don't.
Yes, now.
Yeah,
Omodon,
yeah.
you must. You know, even
Sharp.
for the Idol trend, you get one person for you to be
Sharp.
an Idol, you must
Very
have gone through a
old
lot. You
school.
must have.
One
one of my guys, show is there for shout outs. He said, man, you guys are so agibota, man. You don't know we only talk since.
Of course, now. Idol don't take
Idol
now.
don't
No,
take now.
no, they don't make him be mainstream.
But
Say everyone, yes, now. Idol are streets.
A
Yes,
lot of
now.
all these slangs come back.
Yeah, they
somehow,
do,
like
they
a
do.
really-
Yeah.
It's like when the Kute was trending during the
Everything
election.
just comes
Right.
back all of a sudden. Skelewu came back through Davido. Skelewu was something that we used to hear back in the
Yeah.
late 90s. you
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
all-
Someone said Pastor Boluwaji Do and Dosi Ekon are trying to get all the bad bitches to Christ. Say, which guy is this?
Good.
Say, which guy is this?
Menace.
But you know when you're going through all the memes on social media, which is one of the favorite things to do, you know, when you're trying to make the scripts and all the stuff for the pod. Someone said, you know, does the process know that we're trusting it? You know?
Does the
does
process
the
actually
process-
know that
the process in
there are
line
people
process
with that
know.
trust.
who
That's-
send that memo? Say he know. Say we dey
Say
trust
we dey
am.
trust them. You know,
Say they really send us off.
at the point is an important talk to have. Like, you know, say they trust you. Sir.
Are you aligned with this process?
Are you aware that I'm trusting you?
Is there a trust in this process?
Like, because me, I dey trust you. So
I
trust
know
me
whether
back?
you know say I dey
Hey, don't
trust
say,
you.
na only you did it.
Because I'm in the process, so
you understand?
wow.
Because me, I know we don't. So
Baba, everybody for this Nigeria and I don't give a
Bro,
I don't give a
everybody.
damn. Especially for this Lagos. If 100% of people in Lagos, like 90% I don't. If you don't be done, you don't survive this Lagos. I'm
go
telling
survive.
you, 90% of people in Lagos, except the people where they Lagos, but we know they Lagos.
No.
You don't say you get people where they
if you're
Lagos,
pa-
but we know
if
they
you're-
Lagos.
if you're a bag
You
house
know,
for Lagos,
the first
you
time,
know we don't.
see this one. The first time
If you're
I
a bag house for
knew,
Lagos,
do you know
if
that
you're
the
parents
first
in
time
Lagos,
I
you know we
knew
don't.
that the first time I knew that there are people in Lagos. This is I'm telling you, true life story.
Don't worry, I won't be surprised.
The first time I got to know that there were people in Lagos that grew up on having 24 hours light, I did not believe it.
Wait till making you believe.
That there were people living some place in Lagos that grew up on having, you get. So when I was in university, so this my guy was like, when we were staying in something quarters, one of these government agencies.
Yeah.
So we're saying it's also quarters. I say lights. I say wait to when they get lights every day.
24 hours.
24 hours. He said yes now. I said people there for this Lagos we grow up on 24 hours lights.
People there for this Lagos, we don't know road to airports.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah, for sure.
So it was the same when I met
But
people
then they
that were
travel.
Like, yeah.
But they don't know how to drive to the
No,
airport.
I also
I'm
now
like,
met people that were like,
how?
oh, they've never entered public
Adults.
transport. I'm like, okay.
Affluence is a
Some people
beautiful
they
thing.
Lagos, we know actually they Lagos. And they tell you, if you tell somebody say for Oshodi, they fee just owe you. They go, you know, and they Lagos.
You know, someone said whoever likes Monday is either stealing and work or dating a workmate. Nobody. I never see anybody like Monday.
Where are you coming up with all these things?
Monday.
But you know the funniest
I have a stack of my favorite memes. The one that killed me the most this week is say no mind the video, are they available?
The video na he don't. Now why you know they available?
Me, I
They are available.
Oh, okay, I be done, but my own don't they available.
You never
You
strike.
don't get what I do with my life. They're available.
There's a meme, and when this thing drops, right? My bone would see it and smile because I saw it on a story. They said there's a picture of a supposed Jesus Christ. Guys, like if I die for an again, make I die.
Oh man.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like laughing at religious jokes, but yeah, that's really
I
good.
go laugh.
I had an event.
That's a good one.
I had an event once that the event planner warned me. He said the only thing. He said no, I want my.
Don't do that, bro.
He said the only thing I don't take from any MC, any comedian, you can never do religious jokes. Ever. Don't ever try it at my events. All these people that will come and be making jokes about the church, about the scripture, don't ever. I said, it's not a problem. Say me, I'm not a comedian, I'm an MC. I just try to funny. You don't have a problem with me. You are very safe.
You better pay well because if the crowd choke, I will do it real.
Well, so,
If the crowd do the smile, I will
If
do
that
it.
religious joke will make it happen. No, but there's some people that that you can't make religious
shouldn't.
jokes. I don't get it. I don't even do that kind of thing before. And I don't start that where I realize now older crowd. But it was like it was an interactive joke that was supposed to get them, and you know those kind of people. If you appeal to their bias and all that, before you know they are participating in everything you are trying to do. So if you get them, maybe you take them back and be like, yeah, kinikon, oh baba kinikon. Before you know they are active, they are laughing. So we're having a good time, and the thing was about to go left. You get one part of the actual joke we're supposed to come in. I won't go there.
This is what you go do.
I won't go there.
Handbrake.
Say no.
You drag out.
You don't drag and go.
No. Could they walk? Now older set of this thing, and they call me church goers as well. I say, no. Could they walk?
I feel like it's a good time to give a shout out to Jide, who is Jide is not. I don't think Jide is more than 32, right? But I believe that Jide
How
is.
you take know this thing?
Relax, now my guy. I don't know anybody
Which
that can.
DJ they
that-
talk about?
Baba Jide Guerrero.
I don't know anybody that can do
Guerrero.
that can do a. Important. I don't know anybody that can do an event for older people than Jide. You get?
Yeah.
He's so at home with older people. I kind of feel like he will struggle with when he has a younger crowd because Jide is boring.
Bola.
Because like when he sees a crowd like 60 people, 60 years old, like mommy, I'm like Jide don't enter this movie.
What do Adugbo something? What's that?
Omo Adugbo.
Yeah.
Adugbo.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n Adugbo.
Adugbo. Thank you.
No, I think if you there are parts of the country that if you stay there,
There's always an Adugbo.
your interaction with older people will be very easy.
Yeah.
And believe me, if you grow up for when they say proper Niger trenches, Lagos, maybe Ibadan, or any other part of the country. Me, I don't grow up for trenches. I don't understand.
Baba Jide they stay now.
You
Trenches.
get maybe Ibadan,
I don't know,
all
I
these
don't know.
places.
Once you don't come
But I
out
don't
of
know me
cement,
trenches.
you
Stop.
don't
Don't
go
they
outskirts
make
of
it
Lagos.
No, the yab where I grew up.
Don't vex say senior man, but senior man still get out.
Okay.
If
enough.
you get your interaction with older people, you just handle those interactions better. You know when to, they are capping, but you let it go.
For sure.
You get sometimes
You know
you go
when
cap,
to
but you
push.
just know say, Baba,
You know when to-
nah, OG. Just let them go. And you know exactly what to say to get them going.
Yep.
If you sit down in front of an older person, you know the exact line where you go drop. They go sit you down, they go begin yarn. Say, yes, mommy, show up when in 19 kinikon. Baba, they go, they yarn, they go.
Yeah, I think the where I have the most conversation with older people is when I go to like the mechanic, and I'm trying to sit down there and make sure that my car is done. You see some OGs coming, and You sit down with them and like they tell you stuff. You just be like, man, when I enjoy this country. But anyway, it's good to have everyone on the pod. You go through the comments on the podcast, on YouTube or on TikTok and stuff like that. So shout out to all the TikTok people who continue to make our TikTok, bang literally.
TikToking.
And when you see the numbers like 200K on a video, that just that makes you realize that you have maybe a younger audience than you realize.
I'm telling
So
you.
shout out to all the Gen Zs giving us lots of love on TikTok. That is absolutely amazing, and you guys are the best generation. And I tell you that for free. The most innovative ones, the best ones, right? So look, interestingly, I wanted to say 200K views on TikTok on one video is a milestone.
It's 250 now.
250 now,
Wow.
thereabout, right? So that's
THP, you guys inspire me.
no, that's a nice
Always
one.
inspiring.
That's a
me.
nice one, right? Let's start off right today with no place else than the Champions League, right? And when you're trying to figure out who's going to be on set today, you're thinking, who's got the Champions League bug. And I imagine that, all of you saw the game. The only two people in the world I know that did not see that game, those two games, Madrid City and AC Milan, Rashford and Martial. I don't say they don't watch that game. They could just do somewhere else. They do something else. But Rashford and Martial don't watch that game. It showed me die. They don't watch the game. But anyway, let's start with what I think is the most important trait in playing a football game at an elite level, especially when it's a knockout game. Humility. And it's something I saw from Madrid a lot in the last couple of years. The humility to know that the opponent is a good opponent. They've come with a game plan, and let's just see what they've got, right? We're not afraid of them, but we're also not going to underestimate the work and the hype that comes around with them, but still knowing that they're the superior team. When we absorb what you've got, it's almost like a saying that goes,
No vex. Do you think they did that because they thought City were the superior team?
no. Like, no, we are the superior team.
Okay, they-
right?
yeah, they-
like we are the superior team.
Yeah.
We know that when we start, there's a popular saying, if you come at the king, you best not miss.
Yeah.
True.
So it kind of felt like the first 25 minutes, they'd be like, let's see what you've got. Right? And we're observing you. And we're like, okay, that's all you got.
Let's go.
This is what we have. And for those moments, I felt like no team in the world has the quality that Real Madrid have. I have to revise this. There is no front three in the world that is as good in knockout ties as what Real Madrid have. Vinicius, Benzema, and Rodrigo, and whoever they decide to put in Rodrigo's place. I think that
Valverde or whoever.
whoever decides to play there, no front three as good as that. And the moments Real Madrid started playing, you could see Man City were like, damn, we gave all we got. So this is now time.
It's triangles, man.
Yeah.
They were constantly moving in triangles. It was like total football, man. A joy to watch. Sorry to interrupt, but man, the
Yeah, that was the plan,
experience too. The experience from nice one, UB. The experience from Real Madrid is ridiculous. At some point, sometimes I look at Carlo Ancelotti and he doesn't really need to dish out too much instructions to these players. A lot of guys were complaining, why did he start Toni Kroos? They're not going to start.
Who you go constant?
They're not going to start Tuchemeni.
Of course.
Exactly, in a big game like that. Even though Toni Kroos didn't play too well in that game, but he needed that experience. They played the mind games and made us understand that Luka Modric wasn't going to play that game. But Baba started. You have to play those guys, and I think is what those guys bring to that team. Really, the experience of Luka, Toni Kroos is man, and Benzema for sure. That's that spine that's still there. And the way they kind of just calm the game down and allow the youngsters in Camavinga and the likes just flourish. It's exceptional. That's why they're so good in my opinion. Man.
It almost feels like I saw an article on the Guardian, and shouts to Sidlo, who's an amazing writer, and one of the things he put out, he said, they're the biggest club of all, but what they've got, and if you go back to the WhatsApp, we have a WhatsApp group, the Hindsight Podcast Creative Team. And I put out a comment there that, like, the humility, if you have the humility and you follow instructions, you can play big games well. What Sidlo says, and he articulates it excellently, he says they've got the humility to go with superiority. They've got the confidence that their chance would arrive, but they also have the acceptance that the other team plays too. And maybe sometimes they play even better than them.
Yeah.
And I find that in most of the teams that have won, bar the exceptional generation that Barcelona had, you have to win a different way, especially when you're not maybe at your best. Inter Milan 2010 comes to mind. Chelsea 2012 comes to mind. Liverpool comes to mind as well. Even though Liverpool, in the first couple of minutes were not as humble.
Porto 2003.
Porto 2003 as well. So I feel like
it
history
four?
is littered with these examples where quality players, the most quality players are the ones that accept the skill set of the opposition team and tailor to adapt. Kind of reminds me of Israel Adesanya, and Pereira. Israel also almost understood, look, if I give this guy this 4 sets of security, I suck him in, I'd have a moment, to go at them. And I think that's what Real Madrid did as well, which is incredible.
Yeah, I think it was unfortunate that
KDB scored.
City then got that goal that shouldn't have stood. No, not unfortunate that KDB scored. Unfortunate that they scored a goal that shouldn't have.
Because that ball went out.
Yeah, the ball went out. Because when you perform like that in a game with that much at stake, you don't want something like that being what is, probably potentially being the reason why you don't go on to the next round. But there's still.
But there's an explanation for
but
that.
I think.
I've seen a couple of explanations, and the most vivid one is that the VAR explanation is that the goal is allowed to stand because that attacking phase of play was reset the moment Camavinga controlled the ball and gave it away. Apparently, that's why. So you reset the play.
Real Madrid won the ball back.
Real Madrid won Kevin De Bruyne lost the ball to Camavinga. Camavinga then makes a risky pass instead of making a safe pass.
Yeah.
Do you get? So is that valid enough? I don't think it is.
I think
Now,
it's valid.
personally, I don't think it is. If because the reason I don't think it is that you see the other rule where if a goal happens and the ball has hit the hand of any of the attacking player on the attacking team and the goal happens,
that led to the goal.
Doesn't matter how far back the ball hit the hand of the guy. Obviously, you are not saying, the point I'm making is that if the attacking team goes on a wave and maybe in the process the ball touches the arm of the attacking team, or maybe the defending team tried nicking the ball and then they gave it away again, but it's that one wave where the attacking team is coming, that goal is most definitely going to be chalked off. So my problem with that is that same wave of attack that City came with, Madrid, that pass that Camavinga made was an attempt at Madrid coming out from under that attack, and they couldn't. So even though they won the ball, it was that same wave of attack that City made, and Madrid tried to get out from under that, and they couldn't, because that pass ultimately was misplaced. So that's my issue with that, because Madrid never had an opportunity to get out of that attacking wave that City made. So that's my only issue with saying, because Camavinga got the ball, then it has reset. That's why I don't agree with it, because Madrid never had an opportunity to reset, to even come out of that same wave of attack, right?
Phase of play, basically.
Yeah, that phase of play.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I don't agree with that.
I just feel like, I've watched the game for at least, I was listening to, Jamie Carragher say that he's watched the game for maybe 35 years and still makes a very, terrible comment. I think I've seen the game for at the very least 15 years, right? And I don't remember a side that has got the best players in so many positions that have the patience that Real Madrid have, And so I've already said, most popularly said one time, that the moment you feel like you're on top of Real Madrid is when you are most vulnerable. I don't know if you've seen that comment before. And that just epitomizes the institution. And it just left me thinking, what do other clubs do when Madrid go ahead and scout the best players in the world?
So I don't think it's going about scouting the best players in the world. We know the era of Galacticos, when they had Ronaldo, Guti, Beckham. They didn't win the Champions League until Jose Mourinho came in and it broke that round of 16 jinx, for them. And when Carlo came, they won it. I think since when Carlo won it, I think that feeling of we are an elite club, we are the number one club. I mean, we should be winning this trophy. I think it came back to them. So regardless of the players they bring into the team, I think the mindset of the player joining Real Madrid in the first place.
Antonio Perez coming back as well.
Yeah, is that we are an elite team, regardless of whatever you are playing. I mean, player for player, Man City will most likely outclass Real Madrid player. But there's this mentality with them that Rudiger has been woeful this season. Woeful for Real Madrid this season.
Really?
But yeah,
Okay.
really,
Well,
really woeful.
I don't
But in the Champions League,
personally agree, but
Average, I would say.
No,
But
because he doesn't,
I think it's the average.
the way Ancelotti uses
They are not-
him,
he's
he
not
doesn't even
consistent.
play, so he
Yeah.
doesn't play
He's not
every time. So he
exactly.
but
comes
if
in,
you
he
ask Real
goes
Madrid,
out.
Real Madrid fans this season, they will tell you that no, they don't want Rudiger in the starting.
There's
lineup.
no
It
way.
should
there-
be.
there-
but he
Rudiger needs a
but
run of
against
games.
City-
We know him now.
Yeah.
Now,
But
boy.
against City in the semi-final, I think it dawned on them that this is our bread and butter. I mean, Wale will know this group. Olani, it will tell you that they have bigger fish to fry, which is the UEFA Champions League. So even at the back of the mind of their fans, there's this mindset that when it comes to the Champions League, regardless of the form that you are in your league, when it comes to play Real Madrid, it's a different ball.
Which is why it was
So
funny when
I
Rooney said,
entirely-
when Rooney said, Man City will not only beat Real
So,
Madrid, they'll blow them
I
away.
mean,
So
was
I
like,
think this is
they-
where I'm coming.
they
This is
will
where I'm
never
coming.
learn.
This
That's-
is where I'm
that is
coming.
it.
I think the problem with people saying, creating this narrative around Madrid, like, oh, every time Madrid goes on the European stage and beat a big team, it feels like it's a shock, or it feels like,
No.
oh, but you think that you have them, oh,
Yeah.
but they can spring like they are the underdog. It's always like, oh, they are going into the City game. Madrid are the underdog, even though City are very good. The reason that happened, I think it is the disrespect in the media. I actually think the problem
very, very
that
disrespectful.
is the media, because the narrative, first of all, starts from the coach. They go and win the Champions League they won the last time. The ones they won under Zidane, they said is luck, not the tactical knows of Zidane. It is luck. The one they won last season, a lot of people tried to pass the narrative of, oh, they were lucky. Oh, they scored 2 goals in 2 minutes against
won
City.
back
They
to
were
back
lucky.
to back.
When they played Chelsea. Listen, a lot of people tried
It's
to
the
pass that
mindset.
narrative. And
The
you see,
mindset
even
is
in the
there.
build-up to that game, you see what was happening in England. You had all these pundits sitting there saying, oh, Andy Townsend, do you think any of the players in the Madrid
The
team
Madrid team will
get
walk
into the City
into the
team?
City
I don't think so.
No
This
way.
guy,
I think that's
wait,
the
wait,
most
wait,
disgraceful
wait.
thing.
This guy,
How do you say stuff
wait,
like
wait,
that, man?
This guy went as far as saying that Ederson Courtois is a coin toss.
Wow.
That is madness. That is literal madness.
Courtois is,
Well, I mean, if we,
at the level Courtois is performing, is the best goalkeeper in
Do
the
you
world.
understand?
best
How do
goalkeeper in
you
the
go
world.
He has
in?
been for for 3 years.
Ederson is not the best
Ederson
in
is not
England.
even the best in England. So
No,
how do you
no,
go
no, that's going far. Ederson is not the best in the country he comes
in
from.
Brazil?
Alisson
He
is
doesn't
better.
play.
Better. Ederson is not the best in
In
Manchester.
Manchester. He's not the best in Brazil. So you now say Ederson and
Thibaut Courtois.
is a coin toss.
let's even.
I'll send you a screenshot, right? In the opening 10 minutes of the game, Rudiger makes I think Carvajal makes a tackle on Jack Grealish.
Yes, is that's
And
definitely a yellow
that's
card.
definitely a yellow card. Then
Bernardo Silva made a stamp on camera. Is that's a bit naughty from.
That's a bit naughty
That's a bit
from-
naughty from.
so
very
the bias,
inconsistent.
the bias is
So,
there.
bias,
Absolutely.
yes.
let me just round that up.
Sorry, I've always said that the most dangerous people in the world are the ones that don't accept that they have a bias. Right? I don't have a problem with bias. I have a problem
not
when
Trying to pass it out, trying to pass it off as genuine and logical analysis.
Yeah.
So
There's
what
an
I was going to-
agenda, a
what I was going
narrative
to-
that you're
what I was
trying
going
to
to
create.
round that up on is that, so genuinely, even if you see the narrative around Madrid, even with everything they are winning, with the teams they are winning, it is not around how good they are tactically, how good the coach sets them up, and how the coach reads the game. It is always, oh, they get players with FIFA upon for big stage. Oh.
Yeah.
So there's a tiny disrespectful tone there.
For the coach.
But when you are going to talk about Pep, for example, or when you are going to talk about Klopp,
City.
or when they say, man, the coach, he improves
I agree,
players,
but
he does this,
where,
he does...
Where me I even
And when it doesn't work out, they say you overthink.
He overthinks.
agreed, but where me I even want to, if you are a knowledgeable and a purist in terms of football and you watch the game, you will know that Real Madrid is on another level, especially in Champions League football. No matter their form in their local league in La Liga, when they bring it to the Champions League, it's totally different.
It's a different ball game.
They played City almost like they mirrored their game. At some point, as Yubi said, like they studied them for a while, and I was like, oh, this is what you have? All right, let's start. And that was the thing. Rudiger was on Haaland throughout. That was zonal marking and man marking at the same time.
Yeah.
Once
true,
he
true.
leaves him, Alaba is there,
He's there.
for
Yeah,
the,
that's
for
they
the
were,
block.
they were.
So it was,
Once
and
Rudiger
you know they
follows
always
him,
say
Alaba
there's
comes
also what sportsmen do, which a lot of sportsmen do that we don't know, to actually try and get an edge over your opponent. I heard Haaland eats a lot of garlic and farts a lot during games.
Yeah, during the games.
There was one time Rudiger was at, as low as
As his
Haaland's waist. And people were like, how come Haaland go don't fart into Baba? Rudiger, we know him now from
Rudiger,
Chelsea.
Rudiger
He
don't
no
send
send.
anybody now.
He's ready.
that's-
But I mean, just what I'm just saying, where I'm just going.
It's a bit cheesy, but
But I mean, where I'm just going is Rudiger stuck to the game plan. They stuck that space in between the defense and the midfield was not there. That's why City couldn't control that midfield per se. And it was beautiful to watch.
I'll send you a screenshot, and what I think that Cruz is probably the best in the competition for sure. One of the best, holding. They call them trequartistas if you play Football Manager, right? These days, register is more fashionable thing to say, that kind of thing. But what it did was, we're not going to change the system, and this is where the coaches are the most important. And I think it was Arrigo Sacchi that said, that systems are perfect on paper. Once the game starts, it's about understanding. It's a bit more chaotic.
Yeah.
If you watch the game, Rudiger and Cruz put Haaland in the fridge, so to speak. So it's almost like, I think we said it on the last podcast, that it's almost like a conversation. Like, when this guy is here, you're going to be here. We're going to make sure that we cage wherever he goes. We put him in like a cul-de-sac, so to speak. And so
following that
we just
movement.
make that same move, no matter where he goes. We make that
so
same.
it's
And
the
that
issue.
was what you
Because
said
Toni Kroos was marking a
prior
lot.
to Arsenal City game.
That's exactly what I wanted
Mikel
to say.
Arteta should have done.
That's exactly what I
Haaland.
wanted to say. That you see, people see the Madrid team, and they think Cruz, Modric, and these guys Benzema,
Kamavinga.
they just want to play. As if these guys cannot listen to a manager that tells them this is how
They're
I
going
want
to
you to
play.
set up,
Exactly.
and they will listen and stay in that shape. As if those guys cannot put that kind of performance.
I even feel
You
they
know,
don't even
Luka
need to
Modric-
tell them that much. They
Luka
already know
Modric
the
walking,
games.
you see,
Exactly.
Luka Modric sticking to when City has the ball. This is how we press them. It's also my point all along has been that if we had given Ancelotti, and it's all narrative of this new progressive way of, if we are giving Ancelotti the same respect that he deserves in terms of tactics, they tell you Don Carlo, he's been there. No, that's what I'm talking about. We know he's been there. But we're saying, if we had given him...
He's
if
not
we-
just a great man
exactly,
manager.
If we are
He's actually
exactly,
tactically-
he's a big this work.
Tactically sound.
If
Well.
we are giving him the same credit
Well.
we are giving to Pep and Co, we won't be doing all this nonsense narrative about they will blow them away. They are not only going to beat Madrid. Blow them away how? They'll be fun.
There was a video I saw of Danny Carvajal inverting into the midfield, and they say because no be Pep or Arteta, now they do that one now.
I mean, if-
They're not gonna make noise. They're not gonna make
hybrid
noise.
rule.
If any manager
That
does what Kamavinga
That
is,
Kamavinga thing, we've no hear word.
We no hear
So
word.
he improves it.
You understand?
He has listened to the coach.
I mean,
He knows that the coach is the one in charge.
I remember when
All this is-
Pep did it with Fabian Delph, played at left back at the time.
Yep.
I didn't hear the last of it. It was
Exactly.
Like, you know,
The
They
messed
don't
up-
allow us here.
Who Jose never
yeah,
converts.
But the funny thing is that it's easier.
Michael Essien, right back.
It is easier to do with a guy like Fabian Delph, who is not your generational.
He know Kuku they play anyway.
Talent.
You
How
understand? Many games in they play for the midfield?
When you do it with Kamavinga,
Eh.
who is supposed to be
This
the
poster
torch
boy.
bearer of the next generation, I've heard people say a lot of times that, one of Pep's, I give him the credit as well. People say in the comments, I saw in last week, someone said, one of the things we don't give Pep credit for is that, it's not easy to blend those amount of superstars. No team has more superstars than Madrid. Do you get it? No team has bigger egos than Madrid. So
Right now, the Eagles, don't worry yourself.
get-
But Benzema, they see the way Benzema they
you don't
talk.
see Benzema any move.
Imagine
Alright,
the way
no.
Benzema, see the way Benzema they behave, for example. How do you think they go to talk for
Benzema is
dressing
the
room?
one that improved, in my opinion, Vinicius.
Benzema told
You get
say
that-
don't pass the
Don't
ball to
pass
this
this
guy.
guy.
against us.
And even sometimes, apart from even that caption,
He could spoil
you
everything.
could tell the body language on the pitch when Vinicius first joined Real Madrid. You know, he was that finish, that end product was.
Yeah, it was
you
poor.
see, it was
It was
poor,
poor.
and you
Yeah.
could see Benzema's attitude. Like,
He
Like,
always
and you could see that this guy didn't like him.
Yeah.
And you could see that Vinicius was like, how am
to
I going
earn-
to?
has to earn it.
How am I going to make this bros happy?
I've always said it
You
now.
have to work hard.
There's a story. I think it was Joaquin and Rooney.
The telepathic
You get-
understanding between them is amazing. So you be.
No, for sure. That's the whole extent of it. I think it was Joaquin that said, when they knew that Rooney. No, it wasn't Joaquin that said it was observers in the dressing room said when they knew that Rooney was made for United at that level. I think he hit the remote, something like that, of the whatever. I think it was the audio system or the TV.
Right.
And Joaquin comes in, is looking for the remote, and like, let's change this thing to basketball one. And Rooney hides the remote. And let's not forget, he's the youngest player in the dressing room.
Yeah.
And everybody knows, like, man, you are fucking with the wrong guy. Do you get? So Rooney now finds that Joaquin now finds that it's Rooney, and Rooney is like, yeah, let me hide the remote. Do you understand? And even though, of course, Keane doesn't back down, but it was at that moment they all knew that this guy might be a kid, but
he's
he's now
stubborn.
on. He's now on a level. I kind of feel like it's the same thing with Vinicius, which I want us to talk about him a little now, because in the last 2 years, what we've seen is Kylian Mbappe and Haaland, right? And someone said, I had to put it down just to write it out. Someone said that the thing with Haaland is that it is, he doesn't have special moments. He scores a ton of goals. He's a fantastic goal scorer, but, doesn't have special moments that, that's what the best players are remembered for. And, it's in big games that you show those special moments. And I feel like it is not possible anymore to have a Ballon d'Or contender conversation without having Vinicius Jr. inside it.
Of course.
I think that this kid is the best player bar Mbappe.
Yep.
I don't know
on
a player.
Mbappe's level.
And I was
On the same level, in fact.
leaving messages in the WhatsApp group with the guys. I said, look, I don't remember seeing it. If I didn't see Ronaldinho play, if I didn't see Ronaldinho, I didn't see Quaresma play, I'd have thought that this guy is the best thing I've ever seen from Brazil. I've seen Neymar play, but the difference with Vinicius is the decisiveness.
Please.
No, let me finish. Let me finish. The difference between
That road
what
job.
Vinicius
Oh,
does
yeah.
is the directness and decisiveness
very
at which he
direct.
does what he does. Vinicius doesn't play fools.
He doesn't muck
He
about,
doesn't. He
in my
doesn't. He
opinion,
doesn't.
Seth.
He doesn't take a different route. When he gets the ball, he is telling you this build up for this game was made for one reason, for players like me to show that when I have the ball, I am unstoppable. There are no two players like Vinicius Jr.
Step forward.
So
Eden Hazard chest.
when I watch Neymar play, when I watch Neymar play, I feel like Neymar sometimes is like the objective is to score a goal, but for now I just want to show you, say I feel dribble you.
Of course.
You understand?
Neymar is a showman.
Vinicius
showman.
never pulls a trick without that trick being necessary to destroy the opponent, not to humiliate. Neymar's
Not to humiliate him.
But the emulator.
no.
That rainbow flick where you try now.
Ask Ronald.
If you can't humiliate you,
Ronald Arario.
That rainbow.
But Bernard.
What does he do? What's his name?
Fernandinho. That one, not even to escape. But that rainbow flick when you attempt against
it's not to
Skywalker.
humiliate. Honestly, the guy was in a cul-de-sac.
Look at this guy. There were simpler things that he could have
could have
done.
done.
What are you talking about?
Go watch the clip back. He's in a square. They've camped in
Kawaka
like
did a
4
good
players.
job,
You
sir.
could
No,
have
no. You don't understand. That rainbow flick where that idiot tried to do at that pace, there were easier things he could have attempted to try and get out of that trouble.
Bro.
He decided to do a rainbow flick.
That's the samba in
I don't
you,
know a
man.
player.
Exactly.
I don't know a
Samba
player,
in you.
not Ronaldinho from Brazil, that can attempt the things Vinicius does with end product in mind. Operating word, end product. So we saw, beg your pardon, we saw JJ dribble,
you.
right? And sometimes we saw JJ dribble and we're like, even though JJ says that every time he did a trick, the idea was to get out of trouble, right? But
Baba,
I
he dey
mean,
play.
we watch
Baba
JJ.
dey
JJ they play sometimes.
They play a lot of
They
times.
play a lot of times.
Entertain you.
You know, I have not seen Vinicius Jr. do a trick that wasn't to.
Vinicius Junior self they play. You just be saying, you know, they
No, I mean,
flex.
as
No,
I said,
end product
Now,
don't enter Vinicius
Vinicius Junior is
Yo.
all about
From
end
last
product.
season,
Once in
from
a while,
last
you get
season.
one tiny, very tiny moment.
This
for
one
that.
say, he say Ederson supposed to save that.
He's supposed to save him.
How?
He's actually
Which goal?
supposed to save
But
him.
if
That
let's-
Vinicius goal.
true.
Thibaut Courtois saves that ball every
he's
day.
only-
Ah,
but
Every
let's
day.
let's focus. Kunle, let's
You know
focus
why?
on-
You know why
How
Thibaut
about-
will save him.
how
You know why
about-
Thibaut will
Let's
save him.
not. Let's
How
let's
about
You
change.
know why
no?
Thibaut?
You know.
You know, say if you get ball from that
Oh,
angle,
the pool keeper for
If-
post make you for know when they for shoot. Now
if
you
you
go
play
take
ball for
save
that
am.
angle,
Wetin
normally,
you talk? Which angle?
na
It no be angle.
goalkeeper
That's the
left,
thing.
na
No be
goalkeeper
angle.
left hand supposed to play
The
angle.
thing be say no be angle. He was just a little bit away from the
Wait,
center.
I can't say. I don't.
That's the
I don't-
problem,
I don't-
no
I
be
don't
Kule,
think-
angle.
Kule, I'm a goalkeeper by trade.
Oh, look
So-
at this. Look at this riffraff.
I
Look at this
know.
riffraff.
Stand up, make us see your eyes.
When you dive to your
Look at
left,
this
use your
idiot.
use your right hand.
Look at this riffraff.
That
He's
place.
not a goalkeeper by trade. That trade won't give you.
Hey,
Oh, show the keeper.
What did you talk just now?
That trade won't give you.
No.
me, I want us to
Me, I mean, if we dey play, we dey play.
But
He said, you feel sabi keep, but which job is that a goalkeeper by trade? Who employ you for that
guys,
trade?
see,
Who train you?
Vinny for me, Vinny Junior for me. As we don't talk end product and all, but look at his goals and his assists as well, double figures as well.
From last season.
Yeah, totally
He don't-
different
he
from
don't
Mbappe.
improve.
He's not as selfish as Mbappe as well. He gets into the game a lot. He's a bit more mature. He definitely gets a shout out for Ballon d'Or, no doubt. I think he's not as self-centered as certain strikers or attacking players are. And I'll still point to Mbappe. I think Mbappe sucks a lot when they don't pass to him, and he likes to do things alone by himself. But which is good because now he carry France enter World Cup final. Now he carry France enter that penalty shootout against Argentina. But Vinny, I mean, I think also that understanding I said with Benzema has just sealed it for me. Playing with that guy
FX.
has
And-
helped
and-
him
and-
a
and-
No
lot.
vex, FX. You know say you be senior man, but I beg when we want laugh, allow us to laugh. Abeg. Just
No vex.
Just leave us
Yeah,
alone.
I stopped the laugh.
laugh.
I don't feel
And,
laugh.
and
But-
you know,
but thank you.
Vinny now, he don't
No, no, drag
even
you.
done on the guy himself. Say, in a superstar. I guess he nearly terminated his deal with
Nike.
one of
Was it Nike?
the
Or
sports
he signed
brand.
Right.
I think so because they were not offering him what he felt he should be getting, or what he feels
na
he should
you
be
go.
getting. So and we can see that he's not just talking alone.
Yeah, no,
He's backing it up.
I think
He's
that
backing it up with action.
The difference between, like you said, the difference
Valia, the
between
dance.
the difference between Vinicius, what's the little difference between Vinicius and Mbappe? They're similar in how they go about their business, in the sense that not just end goal. Baba, just
Nothing
eliminate these
concern
guys,
with
score goal,
showboating.
nothing else.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is Vinicius, in a way, is more into let me do this thing for my team. So Vinicius can see his team in a difficult place and say, I'm just going to do this thing and maybe just release the ball to Benzema.
Yep.
I'm just going to do this and maybe just release it. So Vinicius does more service of. That's why he does a lot of, runs that seem hopeless,
on.
and somehow they just turn out to be opportunities for the team.
Yeah.
But Mbappe goes on, okay, when I talk, say when I dey mad, Abi, oh yeah, no wahala. Only me, make una come. Stop me if you can. Catch me if you can.
You get
Yeah.
you get the feeling that Vision is an acts of service guy. It's something I see a lot these days. Honestly, I grew up and I never heard anything like love language until maybe 2 years ago, and I started seeing it everywhere. Acts of service.
Love language.
See, I went through. I'm not kidding. I went through university, the whole stretch. You get.
Well, love language.
I
let
never
me see.
heard about love
when
language
I hear, when
before.
the first time I hear love language.
You get.
He said,
Now,
well, let's
these
say never
last 2
get
years.
paid.
Which one of them?
Because you don't marry. Because you don't marry. Person wey get person.
Because your wife now.
He didn't lucky.
Sweetheart.
And the first day when you get there, you marry.
That's the only she come up from him.
The only paper.
Luck, where does he just get? The first girlfriend when you get there, you marry.
You don't have luck. You are blessing me.
Better
That's
you thank your wife. Like this, she don't give you breakfast, sharp. You're on the streets. So let's just further it, because just back to Haaland a little bit, and Rudiger. And by the way, that's the video that has 200K on views on TikTok. Instagram is probably 30K thereabout. Shout out to everyone who's propagated that. But for that move where Rudiger maxed out Haaland, I feel like Rudiger is like a throwback centre back, where he's like, you know what, this is the job today. This job is to make sure that this guy doesn't score a goal. And even if he does, he's not going to have a field day. Mm-hmm. And I saw Haaland in the clips, smile at him at some points. Haaland knew that, this guy understands the role.
Because he marked him one time.
Haaland knew that this guy understands the gig. So, and I kind of feel like there was like, that is respect to the player.
Of course.
The fact that Rudiger is doing all of that, like, is also entertaining. It's like, I find it very entertaining. That
very,
Rudiger,
very.
Haaland enjoys those kind of things.
They're very
He enjoys the physicality. Yeah.
Normally, Haaland is, if you watch in the Premier League, when somebody gets that tight to Haaland and tries to upset him, he becomes aggressive.
Yeah, he
and gets a yellow
off
card,
you.
Starts fighting, that kind of thing. But Rudiger, it was almost like a mutual respect. Like, bro, top level, we're doing our thing, you get. But if you blink,
this Champions League
if you
semi-final,
blink,
you have to wake up.
You get, I will punish. And I feel like that's where Rudiger has to be very wary of in the second leg, because the best players I have found out can concede defeats while working on their strategy to eliminate you next time.
Second time, yeah.
Do you get? That's why I feel like Real Madrid need to be careful, because players like Haaland, this guy made a comment and said he doesn't have special moments. I don't know more special moments than scoring a goal. I understand what he's saying in the nuance of it, right?
He doesn't have to have too many touches. I get where he's going. He's not getting. He's not involved in the game that much. But he's Ruud van Nistelrooy 2.0.
Or special moments like Kevin De Bruyne. That's a special moment. That's a moment that you have to have. And special moments don't come in the Premier League to be in the pantheons of the great players.
Yeah.
You have to do it in the semi-final, quarters, final. Drogba special moments, against Bayern Munich will live forever.
That's why
You will not. The moments he had in the Premier League against Arsenal, he scored 11 against Arsenal, something like that in his career, would not come close. He won't make it.
People even plenty.
So Kevin De Bruyne, for example,
Drogba scored like 14 and 15.
or something like that. Kevin De Bruyne, for example, scores that goal. If City go on to win the Champions League, that moment becomes a reference point for when you want to speak about him in the conversation as the best midfielder, which is what we're going to have now. Where is he in the whole thing? I watched the AC Milan game yesterday, and Tomori, for all the praise,
Zeko,
all the praise in Italy for the last 3 years, he's doing great. He left England. It is those games, semi-final, that you have to take your chance to be elevated into. I am now an elite defender.
Zeko.
But Zeko. But let's talk about De Bruyne, right? And I've seen something I spoke to Rufai about as well. I've seen a lot of recency bias. Thierry Henry said he's the most clever player he's ever seen. Jamie Carragher said he's the best passer of the ball he's ever seen. And I know from working on the air that on matches that when you've seen something that feels special, it has a tendency to overshadow your entire, thought processes. But let's be clear here. We've seen some good players in the game.
We've seen some real clever players.
Very.
Real clever players.
Rui Costa.
Bros.
Rui Costa that will give you that pass.
Rui Costa.
That pass that they were talking about. We're all shouting about
FX.
KDB.
FX
Costa has been doing those passes.
FX switch. What? See, let's be very clear. Paul Scholes is an incredibly talented guy.
Fantastic.
Nobody can pass the ball like him. We're talking about, what we're saying is more, how do I put it? Very tiny. It's like clever. We're not talking of maybe long passes or the technique of playing the pass. No. We're saying like when a player is clever, like you're just wondering like how did he think about that?
Yeah.
What? How? Bro, have you seen the kind of passes them Rui Costa, them Joan Roman Riquelme used to play?
Luis Figo, Seedorf. Yeah, thank you.
So if there's a dinner party and you have dinner parties, it's for Hall of Famers, right?
Even Mata, Joan Mata. I saw that little magician do something.
It's for Hall of All of Famers. The party has a dinner and the table has, your Paul Scholes, your Pirlo, has your Luka Modric, has who else is there? Your Cesc Fabregas, has your Xavi Hernandez. Where does Ozil, where does Kevin De Bruyne come into that conversation? where do you put him? Because when you talk about clever players,
I can't rank.
Nine
But
go
obviously,
start for the dinner.
obviously, he won't be out of place.
does he sit on the table or does he stand on that? Or does he
He
stand?
stands.
gonna
He
stand.
stands.
He's
He
gonna stand.
stands.
He
He
sits
stands.
for
You
me.
know why he stands?
He
He's gonna
sits.
You know why he
not sit.
stands?
He's
He's
gonna
an
stand.
incredibly talented player. And this is not me trying to say maybe he wouldn't have been able to do it. But I think that the absolute best that we're seeing with Kevin De Bruyne, you see all those names that I have mentioned. You mentioned who now? You know, those names I have mentioned.
Scholes,
Iniesta,
Fabregas.
Pirlo.
I think when I talk about clever, I think
Luka
about David
Modric.
Silva immediately.
And I was going to
Luka
also
Modric.
mention, that you see that clever, in my own opinion, the players I respect the most when it comes to being clever and having a fantastic football brain are the ones who don't necessarily have the physical structure to be able to, you know, defeat anyone that comes against them. So those kind of people rely almost 90-100% on that football brain.
IQ.
Yeah.
Because some of them, even if you touch them small like this, they don't have the physical attributes. So for them to get past people, it is 1000% down to their brain. David Silva, Joan Mata. See, Mesut Ozil, these players. So even people like Andrea Pirlo, right?
Santi
So
Cazorla.
I think that why I said Santi Cazorla, that's another
Fantastic footballer.
you understand? Why I said Kevin De Bruyne, and you know, it's unfortunate I have to say because I think I actually like the guy. I think he's fantastic.
It's not unfortunate.
It still feels like, who is Kevin De Bruyne outside of Man City? Can he be that good outside of City?
Let me help you. Kevin De Bruyne has been bowling since he was.
I know he has been balling.
Since he was a kid. Michael Menalo spotted
Yes.
Kevin De Bruyne since he was like 16. He saw that wave from Belgium and all. Kevin De Bruyne has been a sports kid even when he was in the academy. He used to whinge and whine a lot. He always wanted his way. He was one of those sports kids that if you didn't pass to him or if the coach benched him, he was, you know, if you go and watch the documentaries, he had it on you. But when you're not playing, he'll score 4 goals. And he had that eye for a pass, really. The technique with Kevin De Bruyne has been there since he was 18, bro.
Yeah, I know now. Sorry, my guy.
From Wolfsburg to Chelsea, it was there.
No, we
so
know-
that consistency, guys.
What I'm saying, no, I'm not.
Wait,
I'm
wait,
not about
wait,
potential.
wait,
the
guys.
question-
I want to
the
argue
question-
something.
the question-
We
talking about
mentioned.
is
We
he the
mentioned.
Is he
Wait,
the
this is where
best
I'm
passer
going.
of the ball you've ever seen?
He's one of the best. He sits on that table.
course he's one
that's
of the
that's
best.
why I say
Of
he
course
sits
he's
on
one
that
of the
table
best.
because
No.
of the consistency of that doing
Well,
that
let's
over
not-
the
It
years.
depends on how the table.
Kazola, wait.
It depends on how long the table
guys.
is.
Well, that one said Kazola came into his own when he got older. He started balling when he got older. That's the truth. Yeah.
No. Kazola bought some.
It was when he got
getting
older.
man.
It was when he
I
got
agree.
older and when he started
came into deep midfield.
and when he
at
now
some
came
point.
into the midfield, when he started playing central. But
You know they were
usually
playing him
when
on the wing
Cazorla
one
started,
time.
He was on the
Yeah,
wing,
at-
and
at,
attacking. So my lot of guys peaked. It was when they
Villarreal.
reached their peak. But back,
Villarreal.
KDB has been balling since he was a kid till now.
That's not
that's-
what we're
That's
saying.
where I'm going.
That's
I
not-
know.
that's
I'm
not
just
the
saying.
point.
I'm just saying that.
That's what
the-
I'm saying.
That's
You
the
get-
beauty
here's
of
what
it.
I'm saying.
Let's not. You see,
The consistency of it.
Let's not belabor the conversation. You get, because when you say someone is the most clever person you've seen,
I think
you
that's
get,
just one. You want to
know,
make it
when you
sensational.
say someone is the best passer you've seen, you immediately narrow the conversation.
He
and
can't be
say-
the best passer. No
you say,
chance.
You say
He's not the
the
best,
best
but
passer.
he's one of the best.
I think,
Of course.
See,
Paul
this-
Scholes is.
when I think about
Paul
passing-
Scholes is number 1.
Who
else have
you know,
15?
Paul
Now,
Scholes.
Paul Scholes are required
You know
SMS.
Paul Scholes passes the ball.
SMS.
You know
He
Paul
go- he
Scholes
go
passes the
return.
ball better than Zidane.
Yes.
I don't even me for
Like-
me.
like,
I feel
if
Pirlo even passes best
You
better than
don't
any of
you don't say
them.
Alonso. You don't say Alonso pass.
Let's understand it. Let's understand it.
See.
Pirlo them. They can. Let me put it like. Someone like we're talking Paul Scholes, Pirlo, and these guys. If Paul Scholes plays a 60-yard pass, Pirlo can play a 60-yard pass. Zidane can play a 60-yard pass. But we're saying like,
What the volume of the CR
get-
passes you're doing?
you just understand. Paul Scholes, as a matter of fact,
close
can hit the
contact.
ball. The ball can take a bounce, and Paul Scholes plays a 50-yard.
With the bounce. Without
The
the
ball
controlling
takes a
it.
bounce, boom, and he hits it
One
50
time.
yard.
You get.
That is incredible technique.
So basically, what I hear, right? KDB is not. I don't think he's gonna sit on the table. I think
He's not gonna
It
sit
depends
up.
on how long the table
depends-
is.
if you
Because
don't- if you don't
KDB
reach-
is incredibly
if you
talented.
don't
Okay,
reach
now,
about
if you are Lagos weddings,
12-man table.
no, if you're
It's not going to be
no,
12
Lagos
man
weddings.
Kid, you don't shape a boy now.
If you're an event,
I know
if you're
what
an
you're
event,
talking
if you're an
Man
event
table,
planner,
you
planner.
should done now.
if you're an event planner, you can correct me here. You know, it's always 10 people. What was the wedding? It's not 10.
Table of 10.
There's always 10
Table
people
of 10 is
on
the
one.
most.
10.
But that one
Eight,
at dinner
10.
setting.
Eight. You
That one
understand?
at dinner setting.
You know, and those
If
10,
na-
I can
if
mention
na-
10 guys that will sit
Oh, yeah,
Cool down.
mention. You
Cool
go ahead
down.
and mention.
Hold
Cool
on,
down.
hold on.
Get gentlemen. You go
Go
hard.
support my heart. Go mention.
Bro,
Kunle, I'll also go tell you say na yeah.
sit.
Sabi,
Nah,
that's
yeah.
another guy.
Paul Scholes,
Yes.
Fabregas,
Yes.
you get Schneider,
Yes.
right? Modric,
Yes.
what's his name?
Rui Costa.
Ozil.
No, hold on. Pelo,
Yes.
right? Zidane was on that table
Yes.
first.
Xavi, Iniesta. One of the two.
Xavi Alonso.
Zabi Alonso.
Xavi Alonso. I think
Javi Hernandez.
Xavi Hernandez has to be there,
Of course.
right?
You
I
let
don't
him
mention
on.
how many there.
8.
8.
You don't the shake.
Relax.
You don't mention Rui Costa.
You don't the
Relax.
shake.
No,
Never
no,
mention
no,
it.
He no measure Ricosa.
Leave Costa first.
You don't the shake.
Leave Costa first. I'm thinking about the Real Madrid teams. The Real Madrid team.
You never mentioned Ozil, Baba.
You never mentioned Ozil.
No,
No,
Gucci
you
not
don't
gonna
mention
be
You never
Ozil.
ma-
You don't
Gucci
mention
bad.
Gucci
but-
don't go anywhere.
Gucci Ozil.
Gucci don't go there.
there. No.
Show why,
Let's-
Mini.
No.
Hey.
No.
Wale, no
Show
vex
why,
me.
Mini.
No vex me.
No.
Because I don't know Gucci. Thank you.
Gucci go
Relax.
there.
Gucci. Because I don't know who
Gucci will
Gucci
sit down
is.
first.
Who cares? We dey talk of who sabi. We dey talk of who
We
sabi.
dey talk
Go and
PR.
look at his highlights.
Hold on.
We dey
Amazing.
talk of who sabi.
Hold on.
Gucci still has the greatest assists
Jorginho
in
will sit down.
football.
Shey you want make I break this mic?
What's the worry? What's the worry? You see, they don't think calm. They don't think calm now.
Shey you dey whine me?
Which Jorginho?
Sorry, I mean,
Get out!
I mean,
What are you talking about?
Juninho.
Now what time they think be that
You
Juninho?
go correct o. Wetin be that?
You never even mention Mata. You never mention David Silva.
You get no. So for Matadem is more.
You don't
is-
even mention
no,
Ozil.
it's-
Yeah.
For Matadem is more cleverness.
It's more
than-
cleverness.
than-
That's
than
why I
Ozil.
would,
Exactly.
yeah, it's more cleverness. That's why I
You
would put
understand?
Mata there.
No matter.
And that was why I brought him over. It's like cleverness.
Okay. Kevin De Bruyne comes in maybe at number 10. You get.
Put
How
Ozil.
about
You
Messi?
don't mention some people.
Messi.
No.
Ozil,
No,
Rui
no.
Costa, Gucci, they will be in my top.
There's no way Rui Costa. See, Rui Costa will be top 5.
Big goal, Seth. Good.
No. Figo doesn't come in.
See,
No,
the reason I
You
won't
know why
bring
not Totti? Totti was more
No,
was
no.
everything. Goal scorer.
Yeah, Totti was
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Totti could play false 9, could
do
play on the
everything.
wing, could play as a number 10.
Would
But
dribble,
Totti,
would
but
score.
also, there were very few people that could hit the ball like Totti.
Nedved.
Very, very few people will not mention Nedved. Bro, the table long. Forget say we go in
But
front of camera
Nedved
now.
too.
Could never
Nedved
pass-
too
could
now.
never
Actually,
pass like that.
no, they passed like that.
No,
It wasn't even a pass.
ne-
It
ne-
You know what?
was more of Del Piero. It was more of Del Piero that
You
was
know
the passer.
why we can why we need to be careful.
You are Roman Riquelme.
Pretty Ricky.
Bring out.
Pretty Ricky.
I call that boy. What's that boy's name?
Riquelme- see,
I
let me
call
tell
that
you,
boy. What's that boy's name?
Riquelme is-
Xabi Alonso. Bring him out.
Bro,
Riquelme
Riquelme is, oh my goodness.
How
When
about
I dey
this-
talk
how
about
about
this
this
guy,
Valencia
when he dey
midfielder?
So you see.
How about this Valencia midfielder Pablo Aimar?
I even thought you were going to mention.
Not consistent enough,
I even
man.
thought you were going to
Not
mention Marcos
consistent
Senna.
enough, man.
But you know,
Marcos
Marcos
Senna,
Senna.
okay,
Also,
that's Villarreal.
So let's progress it. Let's progress it, right? So let's give Kevin his flowers. I think that De Bruyne is the kind of player that if De Bruyne were not a footballer, I think it would be like a VC in a school, a professor. Do you get? I don't think I've seen. So I'll give him my flowers now. He is the most serious-minded player
You get.
I have ever seen.
It was why I also couldn't argue with Thierry a lot.
Do you get?
Because Thierry
So-
tried to explain what he said.
So you can think about the word because clever is a word that is well defined. Do you get? And I don't think he's the most clever player I've seen.
Nah.
But
No chance.
I think that he's the most business-minded footballer I've ever seen.
Henry is his coach in Belgium.
It almost feels
What do you
like
expect?
when Kevin De Bruyne when he sees a fixture on the fixture list, he's like, okay, we need to get 3 points. And between the moments he walks out on the pitch, every other thing is irrelevant than the objective. We win and we score goals. So every move, every pass, every touch, every control is to make sure that we achieve the objective. You know, if he's like a net footballer.
Yeah,
You
it
get-
feels like he's
doesn't
a
talk,
footballer.
doesn't smile. I mean, as
Just want to get the job
I
done.
He's very
saw the guy
focused.
pushing Arteta. Let's not forget, Arteta spent 4 years with these guys. Ball come up for training. Arteta they try. He
Come
pushed
up
it.
for the-
I don't see you. Do you get? After the game, sorry, respect.
That's the professional.
mentality.
That's the mentality of a pro
He's-
footballer.
That's what I feel it is. I don't think there's any footballer in the
So
world.
that's why I
interesting
was
that you
going back,
mentioned
that when he was a
that-
kid, he had those fumblings.
It's interesting
So
that you
they had
mentioned
to
that. It's
hone
interesting
him
that you
well.
mentioned that Thierry is his coach with Belgium, and I think it's important we mention that as well because I think as much as you see the quality of a player on the field, you watch them match day, be it in the stadium. Even the people when you watch the game in the stadium, people will tell you watching a player live inside the stadium is completely different from watching them on
Def,
TV.
def,
100.
def.
So you can imagine if you
Take
now
that to the
take that
bank.
a step back, I tell you that as much as you see, it doesn't matter the amount of quality you see of a player on the pitch. If you are in the training ground and in the back room with that player, that's when you really know how good that player is.
Yeah.
You see the player on the training ground every day. You see what they do. You speak to them. People who just watch them on a match day will never understand how good that player is, as much as someone who's on the training ground with them. Because the things that goes on the training grounds, woo,
Totally different.
Yeah.
Training is where you see
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
of it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aside the match day performances.
Pretty much. But I think it stands on that table. I think it stands like, you know what?
It stands.
You know, just
So,
I think it stands for the only reason that you guys were here before me.
I give him credit, it depends on how, long the table is. If we're saying 10, 12, if we're saying 10, there's no chance he sits, in my opinion.
You know,
If we're
I
saying the
think
table
it
is 10,
sits on a 12-man table, though.
Right.
But
well,
So-
we'll find
maybe
a
not a 10.
If we find
yeah.
one small chair, give out.
you get. So
Because men, they.
Men
yeah,
deal.
men actually did.
Men
So let's
did.
speak about
You don't-
let's speak about a player that is just decided to hang the boots up. And I was reading this article, and the word that came to my mind, in the article was used very predominantly, is that he's the perfect anti-stats player, and that is somebody that's something that we've talked about here a long time ago. You watch the game and you're like, this is what I can see with my eye, right? And at the end of the game, Opta and all the incredible guys put out the stats and you don't see him there, right? Because how can a guy, you watch a football player and he's called a defensive midfielder, but he doesn't tackle. Do you get? He's not good at tackling. He's not good at sliding. He's not good at what he does
Are
is
more of his game,
steps
but
up at
yeah.
the right time. He doesn't dribble, and that's what Busquets was to the game. But when a guy like Xavi Hernandez says he's the best Spanish midfielder he has, to have played, defensive midfielder to have ever played, I wanted to ask you guys, if you had the option to pick between two players, Xavi Alonso and Busquets, who?
Xabi Alonso.
Yeah.
Or Sergio Busquets. Because of, if I'm a coach, because of the kind of game I want to play, I'll play Xabi Alonso because of his range, the diagonals, the 40 yards, the 50 yards.
I'll play
Xabi will
Xabi.
give-
I'll play Xabi
But
Alonso.
to be honest, if you want to keep that ball, you want to tactically drain and
Dominate your opponents.
dominate and destroy your opponents in every way, Sergio Busquets will give you that. That man hardly lost the ball, really. He was the architect of how Barcelona and Spain played when they were at their highest level, even till now. Wonderful
Is
footballer.
he the perfect anti-press footballer? Because
That's the word, really.
you see. I think he's anti-stats, but there are very few players. I think the most anti-press footballer to have ever touched the football is Xavi Hernandez. I don't think you can press Xavi Hernandez. I think the waste of time to press Xavi Hernandez.
That one, you have to probably be a
You
ballet dancer and
it is
salsa, your
a
waist
waste
has
of time.
to- your
I
waist
think-
has to be great.
I think you are better served dropping into position and making sure that you've covered.
I think that's the idea.
Xavi would
But I
turn
think
your
we also
life.
need to mention that there weren't a lot of teams at a very high level playing against Barcelona at that time when Xavi was in his prime that were actually pressing, get pressing, like that Liverpool level get pressing. Because Xavi was really good with his turning. He's never faced,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
what
But I
most teams do
imagine
then?
what the situation would be
Right now.
if a team is pressing
With
them
a high
the way
press.
Liverpool used to, the way Liverpool of that 2019 or so, used to press. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
never know.
Exactly. You just never know. You just never know.
And because you never know, sometimes
You just go with what you
okay
know.
to say. It's
Yeah.
okay to say.
Exactly.
Given what we saw.
Yeah, exactly.
You understand? Someone comes out and says, no, now because we don't get, clouds to know they were back, we do a better podcast than those guys. You will never know. You get? And because you never know, we do the best. Do you get? Well, that's what it is, right? Right. Because I've seen, some guy came on the YouTube comments and said that he said I'm not here for the regular stuff. I'm here for the football, this thing. You know, I'm thinking the football thing, right? That I can bet you there are more people that are here for the regular stuff than the football stuff, or that maybe more people, or maybe it's split down the middle that are here for the regular stuff and the football stuff, right? Before we leave the studio, I want to give a shout out to a guy, Oga Maestro. His friend is having a birthday. Can't quite remember his friend's name now, but I think that you seeing the video would mean that you can show it to your friend, and your friend realizes that you thought about the thing. Hold on a sec. Just give me a sec. I'm just gonna check it out. Right. Right.
Please do it properly.
What's his name now? So wants to give a birthday shout out to someone whose birthday is on May 17th, so a couple of days away. Awele, an ardent Chelsea fan, your people.
Big ups, Awele. Happy birthday.
Says,
We'll be
dear
back.
Awele.
We'll be back.
Hold on a sec.
Of course we're
Says,
coming back.
dear Awele, I know sometimes it be like saying nobody send you, but I did for you through those moments. Happy birthday, my man. Wish you more opportunities and God's blessings. First birthday shout out on the podcast ever. So, really? That's a nice, nice bit of
Many May
serendipity.
babies.
Nice
Yeah,
serendipity there.
Maybe the carriers go after.
That's not
Where
bad
are
at
they
all,
doing?
right?
Don't worry, just
So
come.
shouts to you. But before
Go-
Monday na my
Everywhere you don't
birthday too. Maybe we don't forget.
waiting
Yeah.
concern your birthday.
You said
So
your
maybe you
birthday
add
na
my
wetin?
account number. Join you if you go. post
I know
it.
that's how.
Monday.
When is your birthday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Monday.
No problem,
May
no problem.
babies, man.
No problem.
Too many.
Anyway, we've got shouts to Buchi who's in the house as well. Buchi is one of your most
Why you know Buchi now? Why don't you know
The
Popular-
butterfly guy.
the butterfly emoji, yeah.
Yeah, the laba guy.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Wahala.
Made that incredible commentary on Reece Nelson. Was it Reece Nelson? Yeah, it was. That video did that video did incredible numbers. Maybe 500K, 1 million.
That's
views.
someone big up
Something-
guys follow you recently where he talks. They're following me now. I'm trying to remember. Was it Ian, right?
Something like that, right?
Or someone you gave a shout out on Twitter.
Too much violence.
Too much
right?
violence, man.
But unfortunately, we can't wait for. We've got to make way. But we're just gonna take the predictions before we go. No,
Sweet.
we have to
Please,
do that.
so I need to put this out too. I predicted last week Wale no put them out, and my prediction was right. Wale come to tell me say no, I no predict that game. I did. I actually did. I can remember I did.
So when Wale don't misfile, that's what they do. You go say you know predict. You go say you know predict. You get right. So let's start with FX, right? Leeds Newcastle. What's gonna happen there?
Leeds Newcastle. Newcastle win. They have to make top four. Definitely winning. Big Sam, no chance.
Yeah. Okay. Aston Villa Tottenham. What's gonna happen there?
Aston Villa is at home, Abi. Yeah.
Yep.
Aston Villa Tottenham. I think a draw. When I lost their last game against I saw in the Midlands. What did he call it?
Black country.
The black country.
Black country.
It's a killer. Yeah, I mean, Unai Emery will not want to lose.
Well, you have traveled, so you know it's
Definitely, he was
yeah.
right. So he didn't get,
find
which
out
one be
trouble.
you
You
not travel? See,
Ask
now,
this idiot right now.
they in the mad. You're right, he in the cast out. Say you never travel.
Right about travel.
Ah, they watch these
they shock
things.
When are they go see
But
my?
yeah, I think
when
it'll
are they go
be a
see my
draw.
man? I travel.
Abi, not travel.
You
now.
know, say
Oh man.
Villa Spurs, I think a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chelsea Forest.
Chelsea have to win that game, man. And this new
do what?
sentiment.
They are not going down now.
To qualify for Champions League.
Confidence for Frank, really.
They are not going down.
We're not going-
Wait, what do you want to
We're not going down.
What do you want?
I don't care, but Frank needs to redeem himself. He shouldn't have taken his job in the first place, but he's taking it anyway.
Just predict.
I don't talk to Chelsea win now.
Right. Let's move over
I
that.
don't understand why not.
Palace Bournemouth.
Sorry, say that again.
Palace Bournemouth. Two teams that are safe, so no problems
Palace
there.
Bournemouth. I think Palace will take it.
Yeah.
Palace to win too. Yeah.
I feel like anyone who signs Michael Olise will make the bargain of the summer. You know,
Fantastic footballer.
maybe.
It's not an attitude problem. It's just you can't see
Where
through
you
him.
where you know I'm from?
He's just
You don't-
He's
you don't-
just there.
You don't follow us down. He take attitude problem.
Where you meet him before?
He's like- he's ice cold.
Attitude problem.
no. He,
Hey God.
I didn't think I
just
did.
tired.
no, now because of that attitude, I know what you mean. He's ice cold. He doesn't. Okay.
He's not.
No, I think only they are. I think they're on
Yeah,
the same
see,
level.
there's
both
no
of them
see.
now.
There's
I think they're on
only
the same
there's
level,
only
sir.
one player in the Premier League playing that position. You know, that's not Mo Salah or Bukayo Saka that is better than Michael Olise. if United spend that money on Michael Olise, they spend on Anthony.
Look at this UB. You don't turn on Anthony just now.
You get
Anthony, wait. UB no one make a year word when they sign
Michael
out.
Jackson.
Yes, now. Wako Jaku.
Pokoli. Is it a name na Pokoli?
360.
Is it a name na Pokoli?
It is a feature to play.
that boy is on front watch, and he's the longest player I've had on front watch this season. You know how you come up as a front watch.
But
you
you
put
will
her back.
improve. You will improve.
No, Allah.
Sancho, we
What
don't.
was the
Sancho
prediction
is
again?
no
Sorry,
green.
what
No,
was
Sancho is good to prison.
what was the question again? Crystal Palace.
Palace Bournemouth. You predicted Crystal Palace to win, yeah?
Yeah, Palace. win.
Bournemouth Wolves.
Sorry.
United Wolves. Sorry.
United Wolves. United at home, Abi. United now go win. Now go win. And I mess up last 2 games. You've dropped points.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going.
Southampton Fulham.
Fulham should be able to get a draw, even though Southampton might be going down. But I think Fulham. I mean, they scored how many goals? 5 goals in their last game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brentford West Ham. 2 teams are safe.
Draw. I think
Yeah.
a draw.
West
'cause-
Ham are safe.
West Ham are
Yeah.
they're safe.
West Ham are safe now, yeah.
They're there, but this is the game where you're interested in Everton Man City off the back of that 5-1. And I'm sure Bucci as well is very like Sean Dykes. Let's think about football, right?
Shout out to Dwight McNeil.
Everybody on football Twitter be like, this guy they play, haram ball. All of a sudden now people are like, Sean Dykes the man. He will never be the man this week.
People will keep changing, but Everton Man City. Hey,
You think I'm?
I did think I'm
Oh
on.
man, no.
No, you better don't be saying that. That's what we said Leeds City
hear.
too.
I don't hear.
But fatigue is kicking in. City playing in all competitions really tight, but I think City will win.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be a whitewash. Trust me.
I think Everton will pull the surprise there.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, it's possible. But if it's tight,
But the thing is, the problem here is that Brighton lost their last game scandalously, and I'd never seen Deserbi make a comment like that. He said, "We'll see the real Brighton next week."
I don't understand.
Oh, now that's not
I
Brighton.
didn't answer.
Oh shit.
So, what's gonna happen to Arsenal Brighton?
Arsenal beats Brighton. They have to because that's their only chance of actually going toe to toe with City. If they drop points, it's totally, finally over.
The good thing about that game is that
Well, you guys tried.
City play another 30 minutes for Arsenal play, so they would have an
That's
idea.
not,
Arsenal
a
to
good,
win.
that's not a good thing for us now.
No, it's a good thing. Honestly, this season I felt like Arsenal have played too many times for City.
Yeah, and it
it's
gives
sort of like
City that.
you were like, oh, get extra motivation. This guy doesn't want to lose now. So
So if
guys,
City can't win, go.
I mean, that one, you and Premier League now will talk about.
No, now it's not fans that they ask. Now.
You don't come on.
If City can't win, how I go do? They wait for
Arsenal go
Brighton
win,
game.
But Leicester, Liverpool.
Leicester,
I feel like Leicester. I feel like Leicester.
Those ones
I
are
feel like it's between Leicester or Forest to go down.
Aye, Leicester, Liverpool. Goals go day, no doubt. But somehow Liverpool.
Me,
just
I've never
sit
seen
on.
anybody hold a cup. I've never seen anybody hold a cup.
Liverpool to win.
I've never seen anybody hold a cup like this before in my life. You're the first person I've seen do this. Like,
Now lefty.
no,
Sure,
like-
but don't want to cup.
No, come on.
so the
Coke, come on.
the makers of the
Coke
cup
is not cola. It's definitely not
is for
cola.
left-handed people, right? But that's it. Let's just go with you. Liverpool, Leicester, Liverpool away. Both teams score. Arsenal, Brighton,
Both teams score.
Everton, Man City,
Both teams score.
Brentford, West Ham,
Both teams score.
Southampton, Fulham,
Still both teams score.
United, Wolves,
United to win.
Crystal Palace, Bournemouth,
Crystal Palace to win.
Chelsea, Forest,
Chelsea to win.
I think so. You could talk nonsense.
Aston Villa, Spurs,
Aston Villa to win.
Leeds, Newcastle,
Kiki.
Newcastle to win.
Rufai, Leeds, Newcastle,
Leeds, Newcastle.
Yeah.
Newcastle to win.
Villa, Spurs,
Who's at home, I beg?
Villa,
Villa, over 2.5.
Chelsea, Forest,
I can't believe I will be saying this, man. Chelsea go win.
You can't believe
No,
it.
Palace,
Yeah, yeah, I
Palace,
see
Bournemouth,
They happen.
Isn't it? Palace, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace or draw.
United, Wolves,
United or draw.
Southampton, Fulham,
Fulham,
Brentford, West Ham,
Brentford, West Ham. West Ham are safe, Abby. Brentford to win.
Everton, Man City,
Man City go beat
Everton,
like thief.
Arsenal, Brighton,
Both teams to score.
Leicester, Liverpool.
Liverpool to win.
Yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, I totally enjoyed your company. We've got to leave the studio now, but FX, always good to have you here with the Mercedes-Benz cap.
Yes, indeed,
Arsenal
brother.
fans still holding out some hope. Is there any chance this thing still happens?
Answer.
City are dropping points in 3 games before the end of the season.
Yeah,
They're playing.
but
Everton, Brentford, and Brighton. They are dropping games.
They're playing Chelsea.
You didn't even mention the
that is
Chelsea
dependent on you picking up your own points.
They are playing Chelsea now.
Till the end of the season.
I mean, when I don't they get confidence, say Chelsea don't they get form.
You see, I don't mention Chelsea. I want team will go pick point.
You get confidence that you
Let's
go
see
win
your
with
face.
him.
And I don't
You
talk
just
to
win all your matches.
With Chelsea play City this season.
Yeah.
But I don't mention them.
Yeah, let's see your
Everton,
face.
Brentford, and Brighton. I ain't gonna
Go
call
win
them
the league.
Instead
make
of
I
you
see
to be
now.
begging us to help you against City, you're saying
FX, why you dey follow?
No, be they find win. Maybe boost
Sharp.
Frank Lampard confidence.
legendary way.
We've got to wrap it up. I mean, I didn't mention at the start of the episode that I got the feeling it would be a good episode. I think we sort of delivered on that promise. Maybe it's the fact that we've been having a nice laugh all day. But all the guys on YouTube, TikTok especially, doing great work. 200K views on TikTok on one video.
Big ups, THP.
Never seen anything like that in a bit. So let's keep that coming, huh? We're still trying to scale that 3K on YouTube, which would be a nice bit of surprise. But I get the feeling that, before May finishes, we might be, a 5K more on Instagram. So that'll be really nice. Yeah, FX,
Nice.
want to thank you very much indeed.
Definitely.
Always making your way.
Definitely.
Me as well. Brought great energy. Cheers for that. Rufai, we'll see you next week from all of us in the studio. Bye-bye. See you soon.